Hi, everybody. So I got all these amazing questions from all of you, and I'm going to bring Raphael in to answer a few of them this morning. It's interesting. I know a lot of people are posting personal questions, and that's not something we're going to be able to get into in this type of a forum, but we will answer questions that pertain to everyone so that everyone can receive information. And I want to remind you that it's not so much what Raphael says, but by just listening to the recording, you're receiving these higher octaves of frequency and vibration. And in doing that alone, brings your nervous system down, settles you, and brings you into a higher consciousness. So enjoy. All right, we will bring Raphael in. I'm going to make some toning sounds and movements and look a little silly, but bear with me. Here we go. Everyone who's listening to this now or in the future, I'd like you to ground down into the earth. Feel Mother Earth. Go up into the heavens and bring in the infinite love. Open your heart to receive these higher vibrations and know that you are loved. And bring in Archangel Michael as he is here along with Raphael with his beautiful sword of light, protecting and anchoring this energy as we receive the most pure, loving energy possible to support all of us. And so it is our understanding from the angelic realm that many of you are wanting to hear our words of wisdom. And as it is that we are already hearing, as Kelly was speaking, that it does not matter the words in which we choose to use, for they are simply a distraction from our love that we have for all of you. As we bring and move you in what we call, or you could understand perhaps as an upgrade, for you are all upgrading into a new frequency and a higher frequency at this time. And as this is happening, you're feeling the releasing and the letting go of these lower density vibrations. And that might present itself in all different ways. For some of you are experiencing, it is the sweetness. And the puppy feels the vibration coming in, and so we'll give it a minute to adjust to that frequency. And so while we are settling that vibration, what is it that you are wanting to talk about?
Hi, Raphael. Thank you so much for joining us and answering the questions that we got on Instagram. And so I think that the first question, and the most important, is how do we not only raise our vibration, but maintain that high vibration throughout our day and our life?
it is that you have been anchored in lower vibrations for so long that it is a process for you to begin to dislodge them from your energetic fields, for you have collectively all agreed upon this certain structure of this, what some of you might even call matrix, in which you have been operating in, that holds many of the lower, denser energies of fear, anxiety, survival, anger, resentment, and so on. And as these energies were put in place for other reasons other than which you are activating them, for they were there to support you in the earthly plane, but have gotten activated in that they are awakened and moving through all of you continuously. You are so familiar with them that you're not even recognizing in any given moment or time that you are holding that particular vibration. And so what is happening right now on the planet is you are moving away from that. And so as you are letting go of it, it is creating disturbances collectively in the consciousness and in your own physical and emotional and mental bodies. Something you're all very aware of. And you say, well, yes, we know all of that, but how is it that we can hold these higher vibrations? And in order to understand that, there must be some understanding in what it is that it brings into your knowing what is energy that is lower, because those vibrations ultimately are held from a place of what you might understand in your word or capacity as unworthiness. For it is that when you are feeling unworthy or less than someone else, or in a vibration or a state of comparison to another, you are operating out of what you would know as ego. And when you are operating out of ego, you are no longer operating in unity. And so what's happened is, as you're moving into unity consciousness, one of the things that you can do in order to hold a higher vibration is to drop into worthiness. And what is worthiness? Worthiness is a willing to fully, completely accept who it is that you are right here in the now, without feeling as though there is something you're needing to achieve, or somewhere you have to go, or some way that you need to be better than you already are in the presence of the breath of this moment. Because when you're always seeking for something other than what is, you're in a place of comparing, not only necessarily to someone else or to society or to something in which you want to get, but even to yourself. You're comparing to yourself that you have to be something other than what you are. And when you're in comparison, you're in hierarchy. When you're in hierarchy, you're basing your reality in domination and control, because you're seeking something other than what is. And so when that's occurring, you're dropping down into fear. You're dropping down into anxiety, resentment, anger, hurt. The mental mind, as we've talked about all the time, gets going. And when the mental mind gets going, the ego amplifies. So in order to hold a higher vibration for longer periods of time, not only all the tools which we always speak of going into the stillness and the space of awareness and the nothingness, is to bring unconditional love not only to yourself, but to others. In the recognition that as you're holding love for them and holding love in your own selves and in your own being, you're merging and you're dissolving, in a sense, that energy of separation, in which the vibrations start to begin to move and merge together. And as they merge together, then that need for separation starts to fall away. When the need for separation and comparison falls away, so do the things that come with it or are born out of it, such as inequality, poverty, a sense of great suffering, because you begin to recognize that you're only trying to achieve something above something else, which is a part of self. And so one of the ways to hold this vibration is to open up to the space in which you allow your higher self to be the operating being behind what is occurring in the body, allowing it to be, in a sense, the captain of the ship, in which it is navigating and guiding you toward every decision in which you are making, and that the decisions that you are making are not coming from that place of unworthiness or separateness, but from your divinity. And so how do you connect with your higher self? Well, you might think of your higher self as residing almost above you. And in a way, it is. It's vibrating way above the crown chakra. And it is your, many times you might think of it as your oversoul. And it has a full access to all of the contracts in this lifetime and all the things you're here to do and to unfold and so on. And it has complete acceptance and unconditional love, seeing the divine perfection in everything, because it is witnessing it from an aerial view, in a sense, from a higher perspective. But what's needed right now is to take that energy, that higher self, that being that has that broader and vaster perspective of the unfoldment of certain things that are occurring, and to pull that vibration down into the physicality of the body, and then be able to hold that energy in the body for longer periods of time. And so when you are about to go to sleep and in the nighttime, as you can tap into what many of you call even the I am that I am, it is the presence of the divinity of who it is that you are, without ego, without name, and without separation. And you can feel that vibration. You can access it. You're being what we call given compensation at this particular time on the planet in order to have greater access to it. You see, it was cut off at the time of forgetting, in which the veil dropped down and like a big wall came between you and your divine self. But that wall is dissolving. And as it dissolves, it's one of the things you talk about, the structures, right? We always say, saying that the institutions and structures are falling, because they are actually walls. They're walls and constructs that are holding together a paradigm that is crumbling, and as it shakes, it dissolves. But not only are the structures dissolving in the reality in which you experience the agreements which you've all come to understand as your reality and truth, and the understanding of truth itself is all crumbling, just because you don't even know it is true anymore. Because it is that the truth doesn't reside in information outside of self, but it only resides and always has reside within. And so what's happening is, if you can pull that energy down, that veil or that wall between you and your higher self or your divine self has begun to dissolve, and it's moving like this. It's kind of waving in a sense. And it's almost like what we're doing is we've crumbled the wall itself, but there may be a doorway now between you and the divine self, but it's clear. It has clear glass. We've cleaned it really well so that you can see it, so you have more access to that higher divine self. And as you ask that I am presence of the divinity of who you are to come and to be embodied within, and you use that as your compass in your decision making, and then so that your decisions are not based from a place of unworthiness, which is based in ego, which is based in separation, but are operating from a higher octave of a vibration of a willingness to feel and know your divinity. In even the stating that I am, or that I am God, that God is me, and that we are aligned together. In many of your old teachings or scriptures, it is the will of God. Well, the will of God is simply a receiving of the higher dimension of your own divine self to align together with that. And as you align together with that, in the hearing and the listening of it, and you use it as your operating method to make decisions, then you begin to operate with what you're asking in your question, a higher frequency or vibration. And so there will be times where you'll hold that vibration, you'll feel it, you'll be in that bliss, you'll know it, and then you'll drop back down into the human experience of lower frequencies. And that's all right. And when those lower frequencies come in, or you get triggered or wounded or hurt by something, it is to be the loving witness of it, to embrace it and to accept it as it is, not to push against it, so that it can move and pass through you more quickly as you begin to then step up into the heart center, up into the higher frequencies, and all the way up into the galactic heart, which has been open for you now to receive spirals of light that come down, as I do, from what you might think of as the great heavens of universal love, down through the crown of your body and into your whole being as they emanate light around you. For it is that this one the other night was having some pain, and so a dear master came in, and the master came in and opened up the channels in the body and expanded a beam of light, almost like an egg, all around her, so that she could begin to absorb these newer and higher frequencies. Because as you might be feeling disturbances occurring in you on all different levels, it's because you're upgrading to these new systems. We're putting in a sense, a new operating system, and you have to calibrate to it. Someone such as this one, which I speak through, has a sense of it prior to it comes, because many new events will be occurring. And as they occur, the preparation for those events is to upgrade your molecular structure, your DNA, and the light in your body so that you are able to receive these new inputs and you are able to do it with ease and with grace.
Thank you so much, Raphael. That was amazing.
Oh, you're welcome.
So you kind of touched on a lot of the questions that people wanted to ask in there. So since we just left on the whole aspect of feeling pain in the body due to an upgrade, we did have a question about physical illness. And will we carry physical illness into the fifth dimension?
It is your understanding of physical illness will change dramatically within the next decade or sooner. And it is that everything that will be applied in order to heal the physical body will mostly come from vibration and sound and energy, as your science will begin to inform you more and more that you are energy and that everything in the body, whether it is presenting itself in what might be labeled as illness or in a negative stance, is a vibration that was held for such a long period of time that it drops down into density, into form in the body as an opportunity for evolving, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for the soul to begin to open itself and move even into higher octaves. And so you ask whether you will carry this vibration of illness into what you all call this fifth dimension, which is basically just a operating collectively as a consciousness into a higher vibration. And it is that in order to be in that state, you will already have lifted and moved out of the discordance and the disharmony of lower vibrations in the body. And so in a sense, no, it will not be there in that same way. The disturbances will not be as present. And if they are present, they will not linger as long. They will come and they will move through. They will witnessly, lovingly be seen, and they will pass by. And so it is that in the healing of the body, because as many of you may label me as the angel of healing, many of you are always wondering, how do I heal the body? And we have noticed that this one, in which we work through, has many chronic illnesses. And there has been an enormous amount of effort on her part to heal these illnesses. And they are healing, and she is healed, and you are all healed. And it is stepping into that deep knowing within that you are, and allowing the old belief system that have accumulated over a lifetime to dissolve and fall away, that deeply supports that healing. Now, there is a natural process in nature and a natural process in the body that is still in place from the agreements in which are presently operating at, in which the body eventually begins to decay or dissolve, and disease may present itself, and the body falls away as the soul is lifted to somewhere else. And that does not mean in any way that one is a failure or they have failed in any way. It is simply the natural process of the releasing of the body as the soul moves into new and other dimensions. And so it is very important that when you are not well, not to judge yourself or to look down upon yourself, that you are doing something wrong or that you have not healed yourself yet, or what is wrong with me, or have I manifested or created this, but to simply see it as an opportunity to listen to it from all different perspectives, to honor it, to accept it, to love it, and to be present with it, and to recognize that there are tools that reside in you to support you in your own healing, and that you were all born a healer, and that you are healers, and that you can heal yourselves. But it is the recognition of that and the willingness to do so that is needed. And so you will not carry many of these vibrations into those higher realms, because where it is that I am, there is no illness. Well, first of all, there is no body. And what's happening to all of you is that you're moving into what you might call your light body. And as you move into your light body, vibrations that are holding illness cannot sustain themselves, because they are instantaneously, in a sense, combusted by the higher vibrations of light.
Yes, thank you so much, Raphael. So this all kind of leads in a very similar question that I think a lot of people wonder about is, they've been questioning if they should be eating meat or not, and if you can move into the fifth dimension while eating meat because of its density.
It is simply an exchange of energy. And it is very dependent upon how it is that one were to eat meat, rather than if they are to eat meat. And so the current paradigm of the way in which meat is eaten, there is zero honoring of the animal. There is zero even recognition or thought of the animal. You're not even aware many times that it is an animal, nor are the children, for they wonder where the chicken came from. It is the grocery store, what it looks like. It is a chicken breast in a package. And so the disconnection from the earth, and the disconnection from the animal and the mineral and the kingdoms has created much disease in the body. And the way in which the production lines of particular products are done without any value or honoring or understanding of the vibration of the exchange that is occurring creates a fear in the animal as it is slaughtered, that it creates anxiety. They're eating foods, the animals themselves, that are not based in love, that are not receiving light and nutrients. Many of them have not even seen the light of the day or the green grass. And so eating meat that is produced in this particular way in a factory setting, as if it is a commodity just for that alone, does carry a very dense and heavy vibration. And when you consume that energy into the body, it moves into the cells, it densifies who it is that you are. It can create disease, and it can also lower your vibration substantially. And so eating these foods is not recommended. It is highly recommended to eat foods that are receiving sunlight in the way in which they grow through photosynthesis, and the light is coming into the plant, and the plant is receiving that light, that frequency of love. It is extremely important to pray over your food. We watched many years past where families gathered together and they sat together and they prayed over their food. And those rituals were in place because it is that the connection while you are eating with others, and the laughing and the talking, changes the molecular structure of the food itself. And as you put your hand over it and send light into it, it changes, as does your water. And so it is the receiving of your food and the blessing of it and the honoring of it that changes its frequency and allows it to be not only absorbed only in the body, but it allows it to create new cells and growth and healing. And so you're asking whether you can continue to eat meat to move into the fifth dimension. Well, It is that it's just energy, and if you're honoring that energy and it is allowed to have the sunlight and be out in the grass and with the farmer and have its full life, and then that life is coming to a close and it wants to share its blessings of its beautiful flesh with you so that you may receive its nourishment and its protein, and there's an honoring in that exchange of it as you bow to it and you shall receive it into your body. That is a very different scenario than being completely unconscious around it. So we are not telling you that you should or you should not eat meat, or you should not eat anything. But we are honoring all parts of life and asking you to honor them as well. And to have great conscious awareness around the source of where your food came from, who handled it, what the vibration was of the farmer that grew it. Because that is all very much a part of what you are receiving in your body. Now, many of you right now are moving away from these things and eating more lighter, and you're becoming lighter. You might even be dropping pounds and wondering why. Because you are moving into your light body in order to be able to sustain the new frequencies that will be and are continuing to bombard the earth so that you may be able to handle that light. And so as long as the food itself comes in a natural way, and as long as the food itself has been hit by the sunlight, and it has been loved and honored and seen, then as you receive it, you receive that light and energy, and you heal. Now, you may find that many of your great gurus or enlightened beings that are at such a high frequency, simply their vibration alone shifts the molecular structure of those foods, and they can even consume them without creating havoc in the body. However, I do not recommend this for those in general at this time. And I support all of you in moving into and asking yourself, who made this food? Where did it come from? And how close is it to its original source? How many times has it been packaged or removed from what it is? Can I name it and know it? And if I went outside, could I find it? And if you can't find it, and the Mother Earth hasn't given birth to it, then begin to put it aside as something for once in a while. And fill your plate with Mother Earth's gifts, for she loves you so, and she is so filled with abundant and plentiful gifts. So eat her beautiful strawberries and her watermelon in the summertime, her squashes in the winter. Feel her kale, and the nutrients come into your body. You may bring in the egg from the chicken if you are wishing, or you may milk the cow, or eat the fish, as long as you are honoring it, and as long as the systems that are creating it in an honoring and loving way, and as long as the planet is able to continue to sustain that, not just for you, but for the collective whole. So zoom back and look at the big picture, and when you place something in your mouth, chew it, feel it, love it, and absorb it, and know that what you bring into the body is what heals the body.
Thank you, Raphael. I think that's a very fresh perspective on food and diet in today's age. So we have one more question left, and Thank you so much for joining us. But the question is, we've talked about these institutions crumbling and collapsing as the hierarchy falls and everything like that. And people are asking, how should we prepare for this crumbling? Should we worry, or is there nothing to worry about? Is there nothing to prepare for? Should we just sit back and relax, or should we get things together? What's the deal?
There is no preparation in the way in which you are thinking of it in terms of gathering things or so on. It is that the preparation is not something that you can do outside of who you are. The preparation is all internal. The preparation is being able to hold your center. Hold your consciousness in higher vibrations of love. Many of you witness and watch when there is some type of an emergency, right? And how different people perhaps react to that emergency. Some become frazzled and frantic and can't focus and cry and crumble and are unable to do what is needed. And others are able to come into a center, a place of calmness, step back, watch what's happening, gather their thoughts, gather their wisdom, gather their skill sets, move in, calmly do what is needed to take care of it. And that's what's going to be needed here. Is that frenetic, anxious, fear-driven, lower vibration anxiety energies will just create shaking. You will need to be operating from at least the place of neutrality and above into the higher vibrations of love, forgiveness, gratitude, witnessing, and light. And it is that as you can hold those vibrations, you will not witness, you will watch and you will witness, but you will not feel the disturbances nearly as much. You will see them, but you will not be panicking, scrambling, falling, crumbling, but you will be seeing, look what's happening. I can see this. And you will remain calm, and the calmness will come from inside. So this time of quiet, this time of reflection, this time of withdrawing in a sense through social things and so on, has given you all plenty of time to begin to just drop down, to center yourself, to be still, to be in meditation, and to be prepared for the energies as they may become a bit chaotic. And so it is that in the chaos, you are to be still. So the preparation is only from within.
Thank you so much, Raphael. This has been an amazing talk.
Our pleasure. Much love and light from the angelic realm. Many blessings and good day.
Good day.